Brett and Lucy are dating, and the posse is not happy about it. Now, one of the first things to mention about the song is that it is in a bluesy style. So it's kind of melancholy, and it's that four-part harmony that you see a lot in blues jazz numbers. And it's interesting because in the whole grand scheme of things, what's happening at this point in the musical isn't necessarily important enough to have this big, overblown blues number. But in the context of the characters, it makes perfect sense. What you gotta understand is that Brett and Lucy have this relationship where Lucy is the needy girlfriend and Brett is the whipped boyfriend. So Lucy misinterprets everything Brett does in the negative, and Brett always tries to make sure that Lucy understands, and when Lucy runs off, then Brett runs after her and all that kind of stuff, and it's just not really a healthy relationship. And so the guys, the posse, realize that Brett has left them for Lucy, essentially. And because Brett is their idol, because they essentially worship the ground he walks on, this is a big deal. This is a good reason to sing an over-the-top bluesy jazz number, and so they were going to do it. And it's interesting, because we don't fully know if the posse is singing this song because they really feel that Lucy and Brett are a bad combination together, because Lucy's bad for Brett, or if they're just unhappy because Lucy took Brett away from them. I honestly think it's a combination of both. They do think that Lucy is a horrible person and not the right person for Brett, but at the same time, Lucy's keeping Brett away from them. I feel like if Lucy hadn't been keeping Brett away from them, they wouldn't be as upset. But what this song offers us that I really like is a negative opinion about Lucy from members of the popular crowd. Because over the course of this musical, we really haven't heard a negative opinion about Lucy from them. Kendra doesn't say anything bad about Lucy because Lucy's her best friend, so she wouldn't. Brett doesn't say anything negative against Lucy because she's hot and that's all that matters in a girl. And the rest of the popular crowd, the other girls in the chorus, don't have anything bad to say against Lucy, partly because they don't have that many lines, but even if they did, they do have that friendship with her, so they wouldn't have anything against her. But with this song, we finally get a group of people from the popular crowd saying bad things about Lucy. Because these guys say in no uncertain terms how bad a person Lucy is. I mean, she's compared to a snake, she's compared to a cockroach, she's compared to a cow, a skinny cow, or an evil cow if you read the script, but either way, not very flattering things. And it's just nice to hear that from this posse that worshipped Brett at the very beginning and really didn't seem all that complex. And not gonna lie, it is kind of nice to hear them smack talk about Lucy because she kind of deserves it. And one last thing, not really connected to how this song fits into the musical, but one thing that I find interesting is that throughout the entire musical, Brett's posse has consisted of two guys. It's been Malcolm and Eddie. But with this number, we add two more, and that's Simon and Richie. Now these are two characters that didn't really make an appearance in the beginning of the musical, and after this song, while they did appear afterwards, they didn't really play that big a role. They're not really classified as Brett's posse, because they're not so in the beginning of the musical, and they're not really so at the end of the musical. So ultimately, I feel like they were added just so they could get that four-part harmony and for no other reason. But hey, I'm not complaining because, not gonna lie, it sounds pretty cool. So, that is all for this week's song. Tune in next week for next week's song. See you then.